perfect. Salute, and welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Want to make sure. In fact, there's been some more check on my end, but it matters most what the audience thinks. Let me see. Okay. Everybody hear? All right, I hear myself fine on my end. Can you hear me on your end, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me loud and clear, crystal clear? Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up in the chat. Good deal. All right. So I think you all know what we are gathered here to talk about this evening. Oh, y'all knew I wasn't going to let this slide. Oh, no. Now listen, let me give my disclaimer in advance. If you are a bisexual and you are on the vote blue no matter who train, this is not the broadcast for you. In fact, if you are subscribed over here, and I don't know why you would be, you're going to unsubscribe tonight. Oh, yes, because we are going to go through the entire State of the Bullshit address. That's right, I said it, the State of the Bullshit address. If you don't like cursing, you ain't going to want to be over here tonight either, because I'm going to have some choice words for this lying Biden that we're going to be talking about here and his Democratic administration. Oh, yeah, we finna go there tonight, family. Because, see, I've said it many times. I'm not the only one that has said it. This is a critical year for Black America, okay? We have some important decisions to make that are going to affect us long after, okay, generations to come. What we do this year politically, okay, is going to affect us for generations. So we don't have any room for error. This is the fourth quarter. We don't have time for foolishness and stupidity. Don't waste your time trying to argue with people and convince them of anything. You just find like minds and you set forth and do what you know you need to do. That's where we're at with it, okay? You're not going to change that vote blue no matter who crowd. They're going to do what they do, okay? And expect Puke 2 to mess with the broadcast tonight. I'm seeing some signal issues over here on my end, but we're going to power through it. Okay, we're going to do what we need to do over here. It is what it is because this message is going to get out. Notice when we're trying to talk about something serious here, they come with the BS, but it's all good. One monkey, don't stop, no show. It is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and greet my esteemed guests that I see join us over here because we're going to cut straight to brass tacks very shortly here. Let me scroll up in this chat room and see who I see joining us. I see the librarian, Patricia Jenkins. You had me cracking up with your comment on my latest short, Patricia, man. Very funny comment, man. That sister's hilarious without even trying, man. It's very funny. Salute to Sean Mims joining us. Ruviencia Felicia. I hope I pronounced your name right, sister. Forgive me if I did not. Let's see. Mrs. L in the building. Salute to you and your husband, good sister. Stun Zed. I see you in the building. ATLN _007. Okay, I see V Moss being the fabulous legs in here. That's right, sister. We got to brag on them legs. They are fabulous gentlemen. I'm telling you that. That sister's legs are gorgeous. I got to put you out there, sister. You know they're bad. And salute to Kevin Blackwell. What's going on? My good brother Dad Miller TV in the house. Mickey Brooks is joining us. My good brother Bruce. Okay, I see Leroy Brown. I see Derek Parker in here. See the sister Sandra Evans joining us. Let's see. I see Derek Parker. Okay, let's see. Make sure I go on down. I see TBI in here. Courtney G, Diesel Mike, the good brother out there on them highways and byways. Hope you're safe, my brother. CRU Reality join us in the building. Willie McKinley. Let's see. I see a goddess Nav in here with a fabulous fro. Creative World Films is in the house. Tia to you is joining us. And my good brother Project Leroy. Salute to you all and everyone that will be joining us in attendance here tonight. And I see my good brother Lee Holmes just came here. All right, family. Slight bit of housekeeping I need to do. It's not nothing major, but it's just something I want to give a heads up to everybody. And it's something that a lot of y'all may not know, you know what I'm saying? But it's something that I want to take the time to mention because I might be one of the only content creators that have mentioned this. Because a lot of y'all, look, if you don't know something, you don't know something. First and foremost, I have, in my opinion, some of the best subscribers on YouTube. Man, let me tell you something, boy. If I don't look, for me, I don't understand what other people say when they say black people don't support other black folks and independent media. That is a bold-faced lie, man. Y'all show up and show out over here. We may not have the biggest channel. We may not get the biggest numbers, but y'all damn sure contribute to this platform. So that's why I'm finna start going hard in the paint with a lot more things. I'm gonna have some surprises coming up for y'all. Just stay tuned. But the announcement I wanted to make, I just wanted to mention this, and I want y'all to remember this, okay? Because some content creators may kind of be, you know, kind of funny style about it. You know, over here, I'll shout out a lot of different people that I think you all be interested in checking out their platforms, but every content creator doesn't operate the same, okay? So while I definitely appreciate all my subscribers, I got to point something out to y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to this because a lot of content creators feel this way, and a lot of times they don't say what I'm about to say, but take it from me. I've been around these spaces a long time, and I know this is a pet peeve of a lot of people's. If you are in another content creator's chat room, okay, a major one or whatever, and I'm not jumping on nobody because I'm not going to call the person name that did it. It's just something I want you to remember. And like, you know, another content creator has like a show coming up or they're going to do a broadcast or whatever. Don't mention that in another content creator's chat room because believe it or not, people are very competitive. And how they'll look at it, who here remembers the Chappelle show? Do you remember the Rick James skit, "Fuck your couch, nigga"? That's how a lot of content creators look at it. They be like, okay, I'm over here doing my broadcast, and you talk about another content creator. You know what I'm saying? So it's just courtesy that we often try not to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because like certain people they'll get on your case about that. So wherever you go, unless the content creator say it's cool or it's germane to something they're saying, don't be shouting out other folks in other folks' chat. Don't be talking about, hey, I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing. Because like that's disrespectful to the person that's, you know, putting on a live air broadcast. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times, let me tell y'all the other side of this. Because see, a lot of y'all that's not content creators, you wouldn't get this. It might sound childish and petty, but I'm just going to tell you how it is. A lot of them won't say this, but I'm a bit different. I'll tell you some of these things that be going on behind the scene. You might not mean a bit of harm in the world. And a lot of times, I know y'all don't. But if you do that, some content creators will think that the person that you shouting out in their chat room told them to come over there, hey, name drop me in somebody in the chat room. Because a lot of goofy stuff be going on in these different spaces, okay? So y'all just try to remember that. I appreciate y'all. Much love and respect to y'all that support me. But, you know, try not to mention me in other people's chat room unless they say something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know, they'll trip about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no issues, no problems, because this ain't no beef platform. I don't do no beef with nobody. But let me tell you something. If I was ever to start, boy, y'all be like, oh, my God, this is a monster. And I try not to do that. I have a caged animal over here, and I like to keep things focused on the more important issues like we're going to be discussing here tonight. So y'all try to remember that, okay? Just take that from your brother. Trust me, that is exactly the way it is. So without further ado, we're going to get started over here because, see, before we get into the State of the Union, I'm finna do something a lot of people that's probably already covered it. They probably didn't do this. So we're gonna remind y'all of something. Oh, yes. We're going to remind you something. Yes, sir. I want to direct your attention to the screen here. Yeah. We got some things we got to look at. We finna get some good old edumacation. Oh, yeah. Can y'all see that okay on the screen? Can y'all see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? I want to know, can you see this clearly on your screen? Let me know if everybody can see this clearly. Can everybody see what's on the screen? Okay. If not, we will enhance this and make it larger. Okay. We'll make it larger. But let me know. I'm going to wait for a minute. Let's make sure everybody can see what I got going up here, because we're going to read this together. Because, see, when I put this in the context, when we start going through this State of the Union shortly here, you're going to be like, okay, put it like this. If you was on the fence after this broadcast tonight, if you got any sense in your head, you won't be. Okay, and I'm talking to foundational Black American freedmen, but I'm talking to on code Black immigrants that's over here too. All of this concerns you, okay? So everybody can see this, okay? Looks like everybody can, okay? All right, well, we're finna go ahead and get started here. Salute to the good brother 400 for the cash out. People already showing love. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Man, y'all look, like I said, man, salute to everybody that support this platform over the years, man. We're growing, but I'm afraid of that. And I know that sounds strange because, man, the bigger you get, boy, sometimes folks come over here that don't need to be over here. But I digress. That can't be here. So on the screen, Lion Biden, that's what I'm going to call him, Lion Biden. Let's read this tweet that he said here. Okay, so now let's look at the date on it first before we start reading. At 9:02 p.m., November the 7th, okay, 2020 there, you see the date on it. Especially for those moments when this campaign was at its lowest, the African-American community stood up for me. They always had my back and I have yours. Okay. That's what he said now. This is him. You see that? That's his tweet. Y'all know we played his audio of that at his speech during his inauguration. You heard the words. So we just refreshing your memory. Now, if you look over here on the right-hand side of your screen, y'all saw this article on my community tab. You can pull this up for yourself. Biden administration admits flying 320,000 migrants secretly into the U.S. to reduce the number of crossings at the border has national security vulnerabilities. Now, in case y'all don't remember, that's been going on through the CBP1 app. Yeah, that's how he's been doing that to reduce the crossing at the border and basically trying to make it look like it's less than. And I hope you understand that what he's doing with that CBP1 program is out of yours and my taxpayer dollars. That they're not spending on us, and every time we ask for something, ooh, we ain't got it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to see how much you don't have when it comes to time to vote at these polls there, because we're not done with him yet. Oh, yeah. Want to further direct your attention to the screen. Fact of business, let me take this banner down. I want y'all to see this. In case a lot of people are like, what's the problem with Biden? What the Republicans gonna do? Okay, so I usually wouldn't even answer that, but for the short bus crew that's gonna listen to this on the playback or might hear it live, they're saying that we are criticizing the Biden administration because that's the administration that's in power right now. If it was the Republicans with this goofiness, we will be criticizing them. I am neither liberal nor conservative. What I am is politically independent, and I'm Black first for my people. That's what I am. Whoever's giving us tangibles can get my vote. It is a business transaction, the order and affair of voting. And if you won't work for free, you should not vote for free. Okay? That's my stance on it. And if you're not going to give tangibles, hey, we got the best candidate in the House, Sir Couch of Chillington. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Sir Couch of Chillington at my place, both of my places, is very comfortable. Oh, man, that brother's been good to me. I don't know about y'all, man. Sir Couch of Chillington can recline over here in my place. I mean, man, plush, comfy, leather. I'm just saying, Sir Couch of Chillington even has heated seat padding. Whole bunch of good features on Sir Couch of Chillington. So that brother can always get my vote. I'm just telling you. But serious business, though. I want y'all to look at the screen here, all right? So now, Independent. This article here comes from them. FBI names alleged Iranian spy said to be plotting the assassination of U.S. officials. Now, in case you don't understand why that's a problem, this ridiculous open border policy is a tragic national security issue. I have never seen anything like this in my lifetime. This is ridiculous. This makes no sense. And see, I got to say it. I've said it many times. I'm going to say it again here tonight. If I was an opposing country and I had issues with the United States, I would take advantage of your open border too. If you're going to be stupid enough to do that, you damn right. I'll be like, hey guys, stop what you're doing. We need to get as many of you we can over here so we can get the cracking on them from the inside. Now, let me explain why this article headline I just read is important here, okay? Y'all can go look these articles up for yourself. Let me tell you something. I don't know how many of you pay attention to geopolitical events, but I do. Okay, that's one of the things I do in conjunction to monitoring the news here and different affairs here. But remember when they launched that missile strike in Iran, okay, because they was retaliating. They said it was some missile strikes towards some U.S. bases. They killed a high-ranking general over there named General Soleimani. Okay, he's very well respected in the Middle Eastern world. And when they did that, they swore revenge on the United States by any means necessary. So let me go ahead and tell you a lie that, you know, the FBI, the alphabet boys tell. And I got to be careful what I'm saying here. Don't be surprised if they start messing with this broadcast. When they tell you that it's one, you better understand that's a group of them that made it over here. See, they know that they have to say something just in case something pops off, but they always underplay things, okay? You better understand that when dealing with the American public, a lot of these agencies, they tell you things so you don't panic, okay? And I'm not saying anything for you to panic. I just want you to be aware that a lot of times when they give you the official headline and pull quotes or what have you, it's a lot worse than that, okay? Like all these dudes be worrying about a chick's body count. They talking about add 30 to that. Well, that's what you need to do when they start telling you these types of headlines. Now let's move over here to the headline on the right. CBS News put this one out. Chinese migrants are the fastest growing group crossing from Mexico into U.S. at the southern border. Now, unless you've been on a rock somewhere, I don't need to tell you that we have a very antagonistic relationship with China. And look, one thing I will say about the Chinese, you can call them many things, but you cannot call them strategically stupid in warfare. I'm going to tell you that right now. Any idiot that underestimates that nation, the CCP, okay, you play that game if you want to. I'm telling you, that is not a country that you underestimate when it comes to any type of warfare, okay? They believe in playing dirty. I'm going to tell you something, just in my opinion, from what I've seen over the years, and y'all know I have the expertise to speak on this, the way that I view them, they believe in this. And it's something that I was told as a kid. Life ain't fair. Don't fight that way. If you think I'm wrong about that, let's give you a brief history lesson because we're gonna crack down to the State of the Union here shortly. Let me tell you something, man. Everybody was talking about China was a third world country. Okay, all right. Due to white supremacist male greed and corporate greed, he took all the manufacturing jobs out from over here, okay? Went over to China because they said, hey, this will be cheap labor for us. And the Chinese were like, yeah, come on over here, buddy. You can get this cheap labor and work out people for $2 a day. Yeah, come on, white man. So, you know, the white man and his infallible wisdom, you know, he's the smartest cat in the room, the highest IQs ever. Nobody's smarter than the white man. Okay. So let me tell you what the Chinese did. And salute to Rashawn for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. Let me tell you what they did. China said, yeah, you bring your ass on over here. You think you're going to exploit us. What you're going to do is two things. You must partner with the Chinese business that's already making the same product that your factory is coming over here. And then you're going to have to put some Chinese executives over here in your company. Now, that's what they told the American companies. What they told the Chinese executives they put over there, say, listen, come here, buddy. Your job is to get everything about what they're manufacturing, and we gonna make copies of it. It was called the Copy to China plan. They turned China from a so-called third world nation into the second, and some say the leading economy in the world today. It's neck and neck with the United States. It's just to let you know that's where they're at as far as like their capital and ability to spend. And here's further reason why you need to understand the competitive nature on the global stage between China and the United States. There's a neo scramble for Africa. So in order to bolster what they already have, the Chinese said, okay, we own a lion's share of the United States debt. All right. Hey, they done gave us what we need. We tricked their stupid asses with this copy of China plan. Wherever there's an iPhone, we're going to have a slide phone and undercut their prices on the global market. Because y'all remember when Trump was talking about they was cheating. That's what he meant. And look, hey, man, they hustlers, man. So what they said was like, okay, we ain't never going back to this dirt third world status that we were. Now that we got this bit of capital, we finna mosey on down here and trick these goofy puppet leaders in the African continent with a bit of debt diplomacy so we can shore up what we have by getting their resources for under market value. We'll give them exorbitant loans that we know they can't pay back. When they default on the loan, the goofy puppet leaders will have signed deals that no other country ever signs, which means you do not put your airports, your seaports, your power companies, your mines, as far as any type of resource, you don't put that up for no damn collateral for a loan. That's what a lot of them goofy ass puppet leaders over there on the continent have done. And I feel for the younger African brothers and sisters because they don't have no say so over that right now. Okay. And they default on the loan. They see, look, let me tell you something, right? All of this aid that they get over there, they pocket that money and spend a small percentage on the people to make it look like they're doing something, and then spend that money on their tribe and clan. That's where them puppet leaders work in Africa, okay? So now that you have that out the way, I had to go ahead and give you that bit of information. We're going to get into this State of the Union and all these lies old Jim Crow Joe Biden was telling. Oh, yeah, Mr. Riding with Biden. Yeah, and see, we got one more we got to read here, too. Let me drag this on, right? This is what old Lion Biden said. He said, oh, let me take this banner down. He said, today, millions of voters across the country made their voices heard, showing that they are ready to fight back against Donald Trump's extreme plan. There you go with that boogeyman attack. That we ain't nobody scared of that Cheeto. To take us backwards. Every generation of Americans will face a moment when it has to defend democracy. This is our fight. And you see, he made this tweet at 10:30 p.m. March 5th. Of 2024, it had 1.4 million views. All right. We hear you, Jim Crow Joe, but we finna get into your lies you was telling, buddy. Cause see, this crap right here, let me say something to anybody that's still riding with Biden and voting blue no matter who. You got to be twice as dumb as a damn box of rocks to support any of this that you about to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, and salute to Mrs. L for the cash out. Thank you and your husband very much for that. I appreciate your generous donation. But ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to play for you, for those of you that missed that State of the Union, some of you like, oh, GBS, you going to play this thing again. I have to, ladies and gentlemen, because this needs to be on record and it needs to be called out by the black media. There's other people that have covered this. But as you know, I'm probably going to hit on some things in ways that they would not, because I'm not cutting any corners on this. So that's it. We're going to go ahead and get started. We'll be stopping this as need be.
Thank you. Senator Jill. Good evening. Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans, in January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
Let me go ahead and get on this right now. Jim Crow Joe Biden, Ukraine is none of America's concern. You've sent billions of our taxpayer dollars over there. And ladies and gentlemen, so that you don't just take my word for it, oh, you know what I'm about to do tonight. I am, because see, I like for anything I say not to be taken at face value. I know that's shocking. I don't like for what I say to be like, hey, I heard it from GBS, that's the gospel. No. No. Don't believe nothing I say. I want you to quantify it for yourself. Let me go in and put our good old tool in here that I want all black people over here on this channel to be familiar with. You should be now. Foreignassistance.gov. You go in there and you look at what they give in Ukraine. Oh, yeah. And young people, I want you to use this too, because see, if you're new here and you've never seen me put that website in the chat room, when it's time for you to go and speak and challenge these old fossils like this bastard sitting up here with his senile ass, you can have policy and numbers at your disposal. Be like, hey, all that stuff you talking about, all that dancing, yeah, you start dancing with him. Like, yeah, we're going to talk about these numbers. What about this aid that you sent over here? You telling me what you can't do for me? See, because you are the future. And the more educated and the more savvy and the more up to speed on exactly what's going on with policy and numbers that the youth are, that's their biggest nightmare. Because see, let me tell you something. No disrespect to anybody's parents or grandparents or whatever that's still holding on to that Democratic Party. But every 2 years, they losing voters. They're going to have to deal with Gen X, the millennials, and Gen Z. And we are coming to get our check, in the words of our ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King, and many others. Oh, you finna pay what you owe. Because, see, you screwed up during that pandemic. You threw money left and right everywhere, just all out the blue. All this time you was telling us what you ain't got. See, let me put it to you this way, ladies and gentlemen. I want you Biden sessions to listen very closely to this, because, see, when you start talking about, oh, what the Republicans don't do. Oh, okay, never mind about that. You better look at what the Democrats are doing, because they're in power right now. This homeless issue in America, I don't know if anybody's ever said this, but we're going to say it over here on this channel tonight, damn it. That lets you know that this homeless issue in America, all that money that they're spending on migrants, they could have been spending that to take care of the homeless people here. Charity begins at home, ladies and gentlemen. And this treasonous bastard right here, he has forgotten about the American people. White folks, if you knows and you over here listening, you need to pay attention to this too. Because see, while you trying to keep black people from getting stuff, and you worried about what black people got going on, what I showed at the beginning of that broadcast, that's going to be your biggest problem. I'm going to tell you right now, even if Trump does win, and chances are he's going to be the next president, I'm just saying that just from what I'm looking like, we're going with tangibles. But like I said, I'm just going by what it's looking like, because it's his race to lose. All these stupid mistakes this man is making here, let me tell you something. It's inevitable that there's going to be another terrorist attack on American soil. There's no way it can't be at this point. You already seen what's going on a small scale with these migrants jumping people and committing all kinds of crimes. Thank Jim Crow Joe Biden and his open border policy for that. White America, that's what you better be focused on. Black people have been the most loyal and patriotic people to this country. We are not your issue. You better start worrying about what this idiot is doing here. Let's let this continue.
But Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself.
Salute to Daryl Bledsoe for the cash out. Let me give you something else that I want y'all to do your homework on, because I could have put this in the broadcast, but I like to make my people research and think over here. For all of you that are wondering, like, what's so important about Ukraine? give you a bit of homework assignment. Some of you may already know this because I know I have a very intelligent audience. There are a lot of American assets in the Ukraine. Some of those assets, and salute to Courtney G for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. Some of those assets are pharmaceutical companies. Some of those pharmaceutical companies are manufacturing a specific product. That specific product was something that, people told you if you didn't make this certain medical decision to, put this particular product in your body, that you would be fired. They did fire some of you. Oh boy, they had campaigns about it, if you know what I'm saying. Just go look up what I'm saying and see how many of those pharmaceutical companies over there. I posted this on X a while back, but I want you to go do your research because, see, let me explain something to you. And I want continental Africans in particular to pay attention to what I'm about to say. When the United States sends its military or aid or anything to help you, they don't give two shits about the people. You better take it from somebody that knows what he's talking about, okay? They don't give two shits about the people on average. What they care about is if they have assets to protect in the region. You hear me? That's what's really going on. See, a lot of people, look, go listen to my broadcast on this channel. It's a ways down in my archive where I broke down the whole Ukraine situation. Back to business. While I'm letting this play, I'm gonna get the link to that and put it in the chat. That is critical reviewing if you've never seen that. Let's let it continue.
That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers in war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now,
let me go ahead and stop that lie, and I got to be careful with how I say this. What he said right there was a lie. Because, let me see how I can put this. Anytime that there's a situation like that, a lot of people may be thinking that the first thing they're going to do is just send the regular military straight over there. That's not how that works. They send other units that are not regular military, I'll say it that way, ahead to do certain things after they've made certain connections with people under the guise of training. I think that's about as clean as I can say that. I want y'all to read between the lines on what I'm saying, because if I just flat out say that, trust me, they'll terminate this whole stream, probably take this whole damn channel down. I think y'all get what I'm saying about that, okay? Just read between the lines on what I'm saying. That is a lie, okay? See, lying by omission, that's something all politicians do. And that's what he did just then, because you know what? I'm going to see if I can post something. I got to debate whether I can post it on YouTube or I may have to post it on Patreon, but I'm going to try to get the truth to y'all about that, because I can't say what I want to say, but I think y'all get what I'm saying. Let's let it continue.
Assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. Can they stand up?
Now, this dipshit right here, okay, this representative from Sweden, let me tell you what this means in layman's terms for ladies and gentlemen in here that don't follow geopolitical events, particularly military strategy on the world stage. Basically, this son of a bitch is getting our taxpayer dollars. They bought his ass to get him to join them. Now, they have basically a useless military. I mean, Sweden is not, nobody's going to be like, oh, shit, here comes Sweden. Hey, take it how you want to take it, Sweden. I'm just telling you the truth. You guys are some pussies. Your military is not really a threat to anybody unless you're a part of a bigger force like NATO. So let me go ahead and give you the breakdown on NATO and Eastern Europe. Let me tell you what Putin's gripe is. And he actually has concerns, so got to give you a bit of history on this for those that don't understand exactly what that's all about. And I put a link to a broadcast I did while I was breaking this down, but I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version here before we get back into this. Everybody remembers the Cuban Missile Crisis. Basically what that was, during that time period, Russia had some missiles down there in Cuba. They would want to have them pointed at the United States. You know what I'm saying? So ever since then, they decided to form NATO states since the Soviet Union collapsed. So what they did, they went spending the bag, our taxpayer dollars, getting states to join the NATO coalition. And that's right on the back door of Putin's doorstep. So what Putin is saying is like, hey, man, get these motherfuckers off the back of my doorstep. You see what I'm trying to do? Because basically what Putin wants to do, and I don't see that happening, especially with Ukraine. You got to understand, when the Soviet Union was functioning, the USSR, okay, a lot of places broke away from that, and Ukraine is one of them. So basically, in case you don't know, the Ukrainians and the Russians are the same people. They speak the same language, so they just decided to break away. Putin wants to reclaim all of that. So basically what Putin is saying, hey, man, get these people off my back doorstep, man. Because, like, all right, if you keep doing this, I'm going to put my foot in your ass. That's basically what he's telling them, okay? So you know them. Nope. Nah, they're going to keep on pressing, keep on pushing, man. To be honest with you, the way to solve that is to say, okay, look, man, you stay in your yard, I'll stay in my yard, all right? That's the smart way to do that. And whatever them people do in Eastern Europe, that's their business, man. We are not the global police. Do you understand how many enemies this country has made by trying to be the damn global police? And I know I'm going to make a lot of enemies saying that here. I don't care, because I've seen it from a standpoint that a lot of people haven't, okay? And y'all know what I'm talking about when I say that, all right? And see, a lot of people get out different branches of the military and they be the biggest buck dancing Sambos. I'm not that, okay? I'm going to tell it like it is. So that's the Reader's Digest layman's terms versions of what Putin's issue is about NATO and what's going on. Let's get back to it.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm.
This is bold-faced, senile, alabaster babble. If we pulled our nose out of their business, Putin ain't trying to do nothing to us. He's like, hey, man, I'm in my backyard handling my business. That's between him and Ukraine. Last time I checked, Ukraine is not a part of the United States, okay? That's got nothing to do with it. See that fear money? Oh, it's going to threaten the free world. No, it won't. How? See, think about it. Let me show you something, right? I'm going to show you how you think with common sense, because see, the average goofy white liberal, and I'm gonna lay the blame where it is, because they are very stupid people. And at times this can be done with the Republican Party. If Putin was that big of a threat, let me tell you something. What would be stopping him from going around just like, all right, let me put it this way. If what he said was true, why come you don't hear about other countries saying, oh my God, Putin just came over here and tried to conquer Germany. Oh my God, Putin just came and tried to conquer France. Oh my God, Putin came back into Afghanistan, because you know what I'm saying, Afghanistan with the United States help kick shit out the Russians back in the day. Why don't he try to go and reconquer all that? If Putin was this global threat, why wouldn't he be going on a world tour just conquering everywhere you turn around? Why would if he was that big a threat? So I'm making you use your common sense. They don't like talking to people like us that's been on inside of this shit and know how it operates. I'm gonna give you the real deal over here tonight. If Putin was that big a threat, you'd hear about it by now, not from our media, but from other people. Every time you turn around, you be like, damn, boy, that Putin tearing some shit up. He's basically in his backyard saying, hey, man, we going to handle our in-house business and work this out. Get out my business. Basically, in case a lot of people didn't understand the other breakdown I gave, imagine you and your spouse. Okay, now, if you're married, y'all need to get along in Black America. I don't care about the other folks. Y'all can follow you want. But if you're a Black person, you're married, y'all need to get along. But imagine you and your spouse, y'all get to having an argument. Okay, it get kind of heated. It's words being said. All of a sudden, because they hear your argument, your neighbor come over there. Well, yeah, you know what? She is kind of right, you know what I'm saying? Or he kind of right. You know, both of y'all gonna look at it like, hold up, man. Ain't nobody asked you to come over here and put your 2 cents in the middle of this. This is family business. Hey, go ahead back to your house, bro. That's basically what you're looking at, okay? So I just wanted to clear that part up. Let's let this senile bastard continue. I ain't done with him by sight.
My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you were here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Your oath of office is defending against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect freedom.
Let me go ahead and pause this right now and mention something. Democrats, Jim Crow Joe Biden, let me tell you something. You should be thankful that you hadn't seen something twice the size of January 6th, because with this record inflation and all this chaos that you've allowed here, that you've allowed these illegal aliens to flood across this border, let me tell you something. It's just a matter of time before the straw that breaks the camel's back falls. And you know your community in particular, okay, the dominant society, you know y'all not used to any type of struggle or hardship. And we all know that, don't we, family? We know they're not accustomed to any type of struggle or hardship. The minute that they're slightly inconvenienced, they can't get a haircut. You remember during the pandemic, crying about getting a haircut? They start to flip out. You've already seen these mass shooters, and you know how they get down. A lot of them are going to start showing out the more this pressure is on. So to be honest with you, they better pray that Biden loses that election. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. You can't keep doing what they're doing and not expect the masses to react. This can't stay the way it is. See, all of them sitting up there clapping and hey, they don't know what it's like to struggle like the average American citizen. They don't. All the while, they're taking our taxpayer dollars and flinging them all left and right here at home and spending them on everybody except for American citizens. Telling you, that's a recipe for disaster, but let's let it continue.
Fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer.
Let me go ahead and deal with this particular issue right here. White America, you better pay attention to this. Speaking to the white American community, which I rarely ever do, you see that your numbers are already in the toilet as far as you reproducing. You're dying out faster than you're being born in all 50 states. Roe v. Wade was a blessing being overturned for you, and it was definitely a blessing being overturned for Black America, okay? We need to get our numbers up. They don't need to go down. I don't need to go into detail about my views on that. Y'all know how I feel about it if you've been subscribed to this channel for a number of years or any length of time. Let me further say this. Biden and the Democrats and Republicans, if you're smart when it comes to courting the Black vote, let me tell you what you should be doing with that whole talking point anytime he starts trying to go into that gender divide, women's reproductive rights, basically talking about having the right to delete babies. What you should be pressing him on, Republicans, you should be saying, okay, since you're going to try to have that Black woman there and talk about in vitro fertilization and Roe v. Wade is depriving people of this or that, how about you say, why is it that the infant mortality rate and the risk of dying is higher for Black women more than any other race? See, again, that lets you know it's medical racism involved, because if it wasn't, that infant mortality rate would be the same across the board with every race of woman. Everybody would be like, okay, well, that's just a risk that happens with every woman. But it's not. That lets you know that's being done deliberate. Republicans, if you smart, you will take them to task on that and say, listen, instead of trying to give women the right to kill their babies, okay, because these hospitals are helping them do that anyway, how about you help them keep themselves and the babies alive? Oh, yeah, I told you, they don't like talking to people like me. Let's let this continue.
Guarantee the right to ADF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more.
Let me stop right there. Because, see, I told you, I'm going to scale through all these lies like a lot of people probably didn't. Deletion, the right to delete babies, that's not a reproductive right because you're terminating life. Reproductive rights would mean you're allowing life to flourish. There's no way to allow life to flourish if you're pushing for that. There's only 3 reasonable causes to get a deletion of a child. The R word, incest, life-threatening pregnancy. Outside of them three, deletion of a child should not be used as no damn birth control. And I'm going to say it right now. Don't care if I lose subscribers. Don't care if you call me everything but a child of God. I've said this many times. I'm going to say it before I get back to letting this play. If your funky ass is living and breathing, I'm including the men that try to encourage women to get deleted tomorrow. I ain't ready to be no father. If your funky asses are living and breathing and nobody deleted you, that baby deserves to be here too. It shouldn't be deleted because your ass was recklessly and sexually irresponsible. That's my stance on that. And I'm going to tell you further. I'm going to say this. And to make some people mad now, it is what it is. If you do get one, here's what I would do if I was in charge. You would only get one. You know why? Because I said, okay, cool. So it wasn't because of the R word, wasn't because of incest. It's not a life-threatening pregnancy, but you want to delete this child? Bet. Okay. This your first and last time doing it. You know why? Because I would sterilize your ass. Both you and the father. You damn right. That's right. Because see, I'm an equal opportunity smoke giver. I don't just get on the women that make the heartless decision to delete babies. I get on you Negroes out here that's encouraging them to do it. You just as guilty in my book. That you're an accomplice to murder. I'm going to say that like it need to be said. You damn right. That's where I stand on it. And I'm not going to budge off of that. Your funky asses is drawing breath. Them children deserve a chance to live too. Let's let it continue.
My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that.
Now, let me say something I don't know if anybody's ever said when it comes to this particular part of this bullshit speech. What you're looking at with all of them standing there clapping, that is pure demonic. I want you to take a look at what's on your screen here. That's pure demonic. Because outside of them three reasonable reasons that I gave, there's no reason to be advocating for that. And if any of them are standing up talking about their Christians, I don't know what God you think you serving. Because the Most High that I serve, he is not an advocate for that. Okay? At all. So we'll just go ahead and get that straight right now. Now, let me say something to our community. Black America, one of the problems that we have, unfortunately, due to being in close proximity to them folks, a lot of times what they do, some of us have started to emulate. Let me tell you something. That needs to come to an end, okay? We don't have no business trying to do what them people do. Let them murder as many of their babies as they want. We need as much black life in our community as we can get. Okay? That's what we need. Let them go on and do whatever they're going to do. Because I'm going to tell you something. For the greater majority of the community, that's just no redeeming them. Their judgment has already been cast. So unless you want the same judgment that's going to be on their heads, don't go over there doing what them people doing. I'm telling you now, I don't care whether you believe in the Most High or not. You don't have to believe in him for judgment to be upon you with certain things, okay? I'm just telling you like it is. You can do whatever you want to do for whoever's listening to this. Okay, go ahead. You do that. You're going to see what you're going to get because, see, all you got to do is really look around. It doesn't matter what your spiritual belief system is. Ask yourself this one question. Look at their condition globally. Don't you know these people are being punished for all these centuries of wickedness they've committed upon God's children? Look at what they've done all around the world. They've never went anywhere in peace. Look at the demonic things they do to each other when they're not in close proximity to us. Do you really think that a God of love and wisdom would allow that to continue? Because look, the Most High is merciful. He'll give you time to correct your error. But these people, they refuse to do right by us and they don't do right by anybody else. Follow behind them if you want to. You're going to get what's coming to them. Let's let it continue.
Clearly. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Let me go ahead and deal with this because, see, I know that some of my words are probably going to make some women mad. Don't really give a damn about women outside of Black America. I care about you sisters listening to the sound of my voice, even if you can't stand me. Let me ask you to do me a favor, okay? I want you to do me a favor, just in case you somebody that's listening to GBS. Oh, I can't stand him, what he's saying. Listen to me, okay? You don't listen to me no other time. I need you to listen to me now. You heard him talking about women have all this power, right? Oh, they're going to give them this power based behind deleting children, okay? Because that's what he's talking about. Let me ask you something, ladies, okay? Those of you that would take issue with what I'm saying, would you agree or disagree that the greatest power of any group of people or community is its future? And the future of any group of people is its children. What power do you really have without a future generation? I don't care if you like me or not. I want you to think about that for a second. Let's let it continue.
If you, the American people.
Oh, pause. I just looked in the chat room. Oh my goodness. That is excellent news. Listen, let me tell you something. I love and appreciate all my subscribers. Hey, Sister Sandra Evans, everybody, I want y'all to do me a favor. Blessings to Sister Sandra Evans and their new addition to their family. Sister, may your household be blessed. May your child's steps be blessed well ahead of them taking them, okay? That is a beautiful thing. Anybody that has new Black life coming into the world, may you be completely covered and blessed in that household. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. And blessings to anybody that's got children that you brought into this world, because that's what we need over here. So y'all show that Sister Sandra Evans some love, if you please. Let's let it continue.
Send me a Congress that supports the right to choose. I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news in 1,000 cities and towns. The American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told.
Okay, let me go ahead and get him since they up there clapping like a bunch of trained heels. Y'all a bunch of trained seals, damn morons. Okay, Joe, you said that America is on the track to having the greatest comeback story ever told. Now that we've been hit with this pandemic in this country that we all suffer through, a smart president would not be sending billions of taxpayer dollars abroad to meddle in other people's affairs. You would be taking that money and dealing with the homeless, because that proves that if you got money for illegal aliens and get them off the street and put them in nice fancy hotels and get them culturally centered meals, they're rejecting food while they stand in hotels that a lot of people in them cities can't even afford to go in. That means that you could have did that for the homeless people in New York, Chicago, Denver, wherever they spending all this money at. See, let me tell you something. The smart black people that's listening to me, you be the voice of reason if you go to these city council meetings. And look, sometimes it always takes us, let's just call it what it is. It always takes us to talk sense back into this nation and this country when it's lost its mind. Okay, now, but we're putting ourselves first, okay? Because this is something that affects our communities. These goofy people in the dominant society, they need to be talking like us. And see, he's been carrying on about democracy, democracy, democracy. Okay, if it's democracy, why y'all so against letting people vote on whether they want to have a sanctuary city or state or not? See, that's something else we going to have to get done. We got to push for that. I know I'm working to get that done here in my state. Oh, trust me, I do a lot behind the scenes. And a lot of people are like, well, why you don't show this? Why you don't show that? Let me tell you something. Much respect to everybody that's up front, that everybody can see, but sometimes it's good when you move in silence. Everybody don't need to know what you're doing until after you're sure you're going to get it accomplished, okay? That's something that we have to learn how to do as black people as well. It's good that you have people up front. I respect all of them. But there's certain things that need to be done behind the scenes too, okay? And what's understood don't need to be explained as far as that concerned. Now, with this idiot here talking about we going to have this great comeback story, there's no way you're going to have a great comeback story with record inflation and you sending all our taxpayer dollars out the country. That makes no sense. Think about it, family. I'm going to give you a very simple analogy. And bear with me if you're an older person and this analogy that I give is too simple, because you know how I like to communicate to you all over here. I like to communicate in a way where not only those of us who are Gen Xers and older, because I know we got some older on code people. Okay, I know all of y'all are not off code, but I like to speak in a way where the young 20-somethings and the young teens or younger even can understand what I'm saying, okay, because they are the future of our community. If you got a sink, okay, and there's a hole in one of the pipes, are you going to get full pressure in that sink? I'm saying it one more time. You got a sink and there's a hole in one of the pipes. Are you going to get full pressure in that sink? No, you're not, because it's leaking, okay? There's a hole in it. Now, you think about this inflation in this country. You think about your taxpayer dollar being sent every which way except for over where it needs to be sent and spent upon our needs as Americans. There's no way you're going to have a great comeback story doing that. That makes no sense. Any smart leader, any smart president that has been through what we've been through, it's jobs that was lost during the pandemic that's never coming back. You will be full focus on, okay, hey, man, I get it. You guys want our help, but we got to sweep around our own front door. We got some things we got to rebuild, repair. We can't help you no more, okay? But see, that goes to show you. I'm going to put this in here one more time because I want y'all to do your own research on this, okay? You know I'm going to put this foreignassistance.gov back in here. I want y'all to keep up with the numbers so that if anybody says, why he always sound like that? Because I'm looking at where our taxpayer dollars are going. I pay taxes, okay? Like many of you do. So if you pay taxes, you have a right to know where your money is going. You have a right to demand these bastards in all 50 states to use our taxpayer dollars on us when we need them, okay? See, what he got going on here with this foolishness, where everybody's in there hand-picked, trained to clap like a seal, those of us that are out here in the real world, we see what's going on. Basically, this whole speech that we're going to review here is him pissing in people's faces and telling them it's yellow rain. Let's let it continue.
So let's tell the story here. Here now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot We leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, my inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record.
See, this part right here, let me say something to young black people. Be registered to vote, but only vote if we're getting tangibles. Let me tell you why. Need to be registered to vote so that if you decide to vote for the cows, they get to count and quantify how many of those votes they could have had, okay? That's what you need to register for. And locally, if you decide to vote, because let me tell you something, locally, that's where it matters more than this national election. But if you vote together locally, you can change a lot of things. See, what they count on is the young people being apathetic and saying, whatever, that's for them old folks. But let me tell you something, it's more young people in this country now than it is older folks. If all of them got on code and said, hey, man, we don't like what's going on in our city, you know what? We are going to push to get whether we want a sanctuary city on the ballot or not. Let me tell you what their worst nightmare is, young American. Let me say, when I say young America, I'm talking about people that's 21 on up to, let's just say, 35, okay? If all of y'all mobilized and said, you know what? No, man, we finna go ahead. These policies, sit down with each other, look at what's going on, okay? As far as like going to your city council, going to your budgets and your states and cities or what have you, and looking at what's going on and say, you know what? Nope. It's enough of us to make a difference with this. Don't you know they would lose their mind if they saw a whole bunch of young people coming out to vote against the foolishness that they got going on? They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. But let me tell you something. That time is coming. Oh, that time is coming. See, look, there's a reason why they're starting to call out some of the new black media platforms now, okay, where they wouldn't say our names before, because they know that the young people are listening to us. And this foolishness that he's talking about here, all these $15 million created. Okay, the people in the real world, they can't tell. These young people are struggling worse than any generation of young people have ever struggled in this country. During my youth, when I was a teen, in my early 20s, there was no such thing as having to pay 3 times the rent to get no apartment. An apartment, not even a house. These young people, man, having to work 2 and 3 jobs, and then if they can't get a regular job, they have to go into the gig economy or become entrepreneurs. Man, let me tell you something. If you're a young black person in America, man, I want you to understand that there are older people out here that acknowledge what you're going through, and we see that, and that's why we go so hard in the paint on these different platforms to advocate and educate you on what you can do to change things, because I want you to understand something. You are not powerless. You are not powerless. All you need to be is well informed about what's going on with policies and numbers. And once you get that together and you stand together on code, you can make a difference. If you doubt it, look at the uncommitted campaign that the Arab community has going on right now, because they're upset with Biden over that Israel-Palestine issue, okay? Oh, now all of a sudden he's trying to drop aid over there and all this stuff. See, when you stand together and stick to your guns on code, and see, let's take it on back. Let's take it on back. During the time of the bus boycott, everybody in the community was on code enough to say, nope, you're not going to mistreat us and have us riding this bus and we can't sit where we want to sit. We'll just carpool until you change this law. See, you got to be willing to sacrifice in order to make change, okay? So I just want to put that on your minds, young black America. You are more powerful than these people understand. And the day that you realize that, that's going to be their worst nightmare. Let's let it continue.
Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America.
Let me tell you something else that all of us across the board in Gen X, the millennials, and Gen Z, we gonna have to be stomped down about that. When you say black, you put an and on it. No, don't staple nothing on the black, because you don't staple nothing onto these other groups when you talking to them about what they're supposed to get. I've never heard them do it. Have you? I've never heard any president do that. When it's time to talk to the agents about what they're getting, they don't staple black people on there. We gonna have to be stomped down vehement about breaking their backs about when you say black, don't you attach a damn thing onto it. That time is over. It's time for us to stop playing with these people, family. Let's let it continue.
Counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps.
Woo! Biggest lie probably of this entire damn speech. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. For who? See, there's that line by omission again. It's not as small as it's ever been for black people. Let's start with one of the main things that you would be able to have some wealth in your family: home ownership. Do you know that we owned more homes during the 60s than we own today in the present? That gap has gotten wider than it's ever been. When you got BlackRock swooping around buying all the damn single family homes, they need to go ahead and put the kibosh on that too. Buying all the single family homes and not selling them, just renting them to people. And you see, man, Biden-sexuals, I don't know what it is about you group of people with the vote blue no matter who nonsense that don't ever sit down and do any type of math and see what numbers are and what's going on to see if what this man is saying out of his senile old ass mouth is matching up with what's going on in the real world. But you are out of your damn mind. You're willing to ignore all of that he just said that is a lie just to get white validation and get acknowledgement from them. Last time I checked, and inform me if I'm wrong, family, because I'm a man that is very humble. I don't think I know everything, but I'm going to ask a question, because as far as I know, I've never been able to do this. Now, maybe you can inform me if you've been able to do this. Let me ask this question. Has anybody gathered here in this chat room been able to pay any bill that you have with white folks acknowledging you? You know, I see you, I hear you. Have you been able to take I see you, I hear you to any light bill company? Okay, any credit card bill or any loan that you paying or any mortgage that you paying, car payment? Have you been pay cell phone? Have you been able to pay a bill with I see you, I hear you, white acknowledgement? Because I haven't been able to do it now. Let me know in the chat room if y'all figured it out. Y'all know something I don't. Hey, I'm seeing a lot of no in my chat room. I risk my case. Let's let it continue.
Coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs right here in America, where they belong. And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers.
I'm so glad you said that, Jim Crow Joe, because instead of trying to flood the zone with a bunch of illegal aliens, how about you start hiring black folks again to do these construction jobs? Because that was one of the main jobs back in the day that a young black man could get if he was saying, okay, hey, I don't have enough money for college, or I'm not a college guy. Hell, let me jump into the skilled trades and go and get into this construction. How about you do that, Biden? That's just one thing that you could be doing if you really were serious about that. But see, this is where white supremacy comes back to bite you in the ass, white America. Always trying to deprive black people of things because you think you're going to get a shortcut and cheap labor out of people. You better look at what's really going on in this country. Let me tell you why what he's doing with this open border policy is so foolish. Family, I want you to answer this question for me. What sense would it make thinking that you're gonna invite people here that didn't give a damn enough to make their own country what it should be, and then you think they're gonna be loyal to this country? Because see, if this country, for whatever reason, happens to crash or be in some type of turmoil, they're just gonna leave and flee to another country. They're not gonna fight for this country. You understand? Look, when we say these jokers are fleers, you better understand that just because they come up here and you give them a couple of trinkets, if it get bad or get uncomfortable, oh, hey, man, I done told you they got them Fleet Force Ones, boy. They'll put them little Flintstone feet to work. You know how the Flintstones be running in the air? That's exactly what they'll be doing. These people are beyond asinine, man. This strategy that they got going on is going to backfire on them because, see, I'm going to tell you something. In addition to everything that I said at the beginning of that broadcast, let's just say a lot of them do get over here and get established where they can vote. They're going to vote Republican. They do it every time. They're not with a lot of them goofy policies that the Democrats have. Especially the white Hispanics. They believe in having babies, okay? Yeah, Hispanic community, the one thing I give them, they believe in multiplying, and I'm not mad at them. That's what we should be doing, okay? So, you know, it's asinine. This strategy that they're trying to do here to replace the black vote with them is not going to work. I'm telling you that right now. Let's let it continue.
Creating good paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact,
let me point something out to you that a lot of y'all probably didn't catch about that. And the good sister Patricia Jenkins brought up an excellent point. They're trying to replace us with these illegal aliens, and the ones that's already over here, they don't even vote like black people. We're the only one that vote in a block. Basically, we're the swing vote. So the priority should go to us. But see, I want y'all to catch something. Because a lot of people, I don't know if they caught this. When he talked about those new jobs going to be created over here, and they start out with $100,000. You don't even need a college degree. Let me tell you what he's calling himself trying to do. And salute to the good brother Project Leroy for the cash out. Let me tell you what he's calling himself trying to do. Them jobs are not for regular Americans. Oh, no. Oh, I already know, but I got a smart audience. I know y'all follow me. Those are the jobs that he's going to be giving these illegals. And just like that disrespectful bastard that I know y'all saw that clip of, that was at that city council meeting. I think it was in Chicago or somewhere. No money for you. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Hadn't even been over here 3 whole hot days and telling black people we not going to get nothing out of our taxpayer dollars on our land. See, they got to paper them migrants up because they can't keep supplying them off the taxpayer dollar forever. That's who them jobs is for. You understand me? See, let me tell you something. Remember that clip that I played several times on this channel where, you know, he was up there checking everybody, all them damn bootlicks that sit up there, thought they was in that secret meeting until it leaked out. And you all are going to have to start working more with Hispanics because they make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do. What you think he meant by that? See, I told you I was going to thread these needles. This bastard can't fool me with his little beady-eyed demon-looking ass. That's exactly what his plan is, okay? That's who those jobs are for. Let's let it continue.
My policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage.
Oh, you low down, dirty so-and-so you. I ain't gonna let you get away with that either. Because, see, if he was serious about what he said, see, this is why I keep telling y'all policy and numbers, policy and numbers, policy and numbers. The worst thing in the world this administration could do was start throwing all this money around to everybody except for folks in on Americans. If he was serious about that, just like they throwing all this money, they done found this hidden money to throw at these illegal aliens, why you didn't throw that same money at Flint, Michigan and Jackson, Mississippi? Oh, yeah, I'm going there with it. Oh, see, see, look, let me tell you something. The way I'm going to break this down tonight, ain't going to be nowhere around nothing that I'm saying. Ain't going to be nowhere around it. If he was so concerned about that, all this magical money that just popped out of nowhere, why you weren't allocating the resources to them two places that I just said? Oh, yeah, I told you, they're going to hate me after tonight.
Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in the family farms, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know, we're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvidere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvidere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, a new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. The folks of Belvidere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs in the future, overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvidere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvidere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
And you're the enemy of the middle class in America, Biden. See, let me say something to everybody that's gathered over here. If you're doing such a great job at something, you don't have to tell people all of these things, because people will be like, hey, man, yo, it's going good. The results would speak for themselves. Case in point, simple as this. When that stimulus check went out, everybody that got it, you knew about it, okay? You knew about it if you qualified to get it, okay? Now, some of us, make a little bit more than we were able to get that or whatever. But I'm just saying, if you got it, my point is this, it was self-evident. It's the same with any type of jobs, infrastructure, whatever's going on. If all of this is so great and so good, then why aren't more people satisfied? See, watch this. I'm finna show you something they can't get around. Save for the vote blue no matter who crowd. Biden, if you're doing such a kick-ass job, why your poll numbers are not higher, Biden? Why your poll numbers so low? If you're doing so great, why isn't everybody like, hey, man, yo, this the guy right here, boy, keep him in there. If you're doing so great, why the hell this inflation so high? Yeah. See, we're going to make it make sense over here tonight. Let's let it continue.
I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
And this right here type of delusion, let me talk to Black America for a minute. Because see these goofy Sambos and that leather shoe face heifer that's standing up clapping back there, Kamami Harris. Let me talk to Black America. I'm going to take this back to warfare strategy again. Yes, we're doing that. You know where you're at over here on this channel. You know my history. That's the one dumb thing that you never do on a battlefield. You don't say things are going great when things are not. You know why? Because you're not going to be able to deal with the threats that's on the battlefield and be able to secure a victory in the most efficient manner. You have to deal with things on the battlefield as they really are. You don't get up here and say the state of the union is stronger than it's ever been. How, you dumbass? With record high inflation, you sending out taxpayer dollars left and right. You got an open border. That don't look like the state of the union is strong to me. Let me ask a question to white America, because y'all like to be nosy and be over here in people's business all the time. Okay, cool. We all Americans tonight. That's what we're going to do. Do you really think in your right frame of mind, I don't care what political party you vote for, you really think that this man is sitting up here telling the truth of what he's saying? When you can see the state of the nation with your own eyes. Let me tell you something. I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm telling you right now. When other nations see this, that particularly have military beef against this country, don't you know they're doing the Birdman hand rub? See, I call Biden treasonous for a reason. Because only a traitor to a nation would get up here and say this bullshit that he's saying. Look, there's a way to talk to the American people and encourage them without saying it in like a doom and gloom fashion, but they just outright lie. There's nothing constructive that can be built off a lie, family. Ask yourself a question. Everybody in this chat room, name one time that you know of that something good came from a lie. Name one time that you can recall that something good came from a lie. Think about it. When's the last time you can say, oh boy, that lie worked out great? Even if it worked out in the short term, in the long term, it didn't. Especially once the lie is found out. Nothing good comes from a lie. So what I'm saying to Black America, let the white people be in delusion that's cheering for this goofiness. We recognize that this country is in trouble with this idiot at the helm of this nation right here. Let's let it continue.
Tonight,
all these bastards clapping, talking about 4 more years. They living half the hog off our taxpayer dollars. They don't know none of the struggles that some of you in this chat room know. They don't know none at all.
Tonight, I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over, And the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it.
Let me go ahead and tackle this right now. Okay. You want to talk about how high prescription drugs are, and they are costly. Well, Biden, your administration, both sides, Republican and Democrat, if you care so much about the health of people, you would have free health care in this country, just like other nations. How you going to brag about, oh, we're the best country in the world, but other nations have free health care and we don't? Yeah, I'm going there. Let's let it continue.
With the law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only $5 a month now.
Let me pause this right here, okay? Oh, yeah, and expect him to start messing with this, because, see, I'm going to finish cooking him. Oh, I'm going to finish cooking his ass. I ain't done with him by sight, family, not at all. He mentioned, oh, we found that big pharma. No, man, fact of business. See, this is why I like to tell my people to pay attention to policy and numbers, or you actually gave Big Pharma the biggest bag they've ever seen with, the Jabba Dabba Doo. Oh, we weren't supposed to bring that up, huh? The Jabba Dabba Doo. Oh, they made plenty of money off the Jabba Dabba Doo. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. So I don't want to hear that you against Big Pharma. See, let me tell you something. One thing about brothers like myself that are businessmen, you can't pull the wool over our eyes when it comes to anything financial. You know why? Ladies and gentlemen, especially young Black Americans, I don't care what anybody tells you. Hold this close to your heart for the rest of your days. You want to get problem solved? You want to know where to start to begin to solve a problem? Follow the money. You lock on to where the money goes like a pit bull and you do not let go. I don't care how many enemies you make. You want to stop people from playing with you and get to the bottom of what's going on? You follow the money every single time. Let's let it continue.
And I want to... But what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money. It's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further.
Okay, since he carrying on about the drugs, this, Big Pharma, that. You know what, Biden? If you really cared, you and your people really cared about the health of America, instead of focusing on that, you would start getting all these disgusting, demonic, health deteriorating chemicals out of this food that we're eating. You got a whole bunch of so-called food chemicals masquerading as food over here. Some of this food, family, I don't know how many of you understand this. Those of you that are not well traveled, A lot of things that we are forced to eat over here are illegal in other countries. Did you know that? You go and take certain items that are on the shelf over here. Take your basic Coca-Cola. You go and have a Coca-Cola in other places like any African nation or some European nation. It don't taste the same as here because it don't have all that crap in it like the Coca-Cola and stuff they have over here. Other nations use natural sugars and things of that nature. They don't have all them preservatives. Right now, you got cereal that's got things that are in stuff that at Home Depot appliance stores in the damn cereal. Look that up. Oh yeah, I'm not making that up. Oh, do your research on it, man. Boy, look, I better throttle back on that because they already messing with the stream over here tonight. But listen, trust me, if he was concerned about that, he would be more concerned about improving the quality of the food by taking out some of that crap out and banning some of the stuff that they put in it. Then your health would increase. But see, we all know there's no money in being healthy. There's only money in keeping you sick and treating you with the drugs, air quotes, that he's carrying on about now. Yeah, I told you, I'm going to finish cooking it. Let's let it continue.
And give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. It will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, it's still a very big deal. Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. But my predecessor, and many in this chamber, want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. They enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population. But research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research.
Oh, I'm so glad you went there talking about women's health that you claim to care about so much. Because see, Jim Crow Joe Biden, this terrible economy that you're responsible for wrecking, you know what the biggest stressor on women's health is? And I guarantee you, a lot of you sisters in this chat room can relate to this. Unfortunately, our women are working too hard in this workforce. And if you really wanted to help women, what you would start doing, particularly in our community, is making more business opportunities, not social programs, so that Black men and Black women that are business owners can afford to give jobs to people in our community. If you really cared about the health of women, okay? Because we know when you say women, you basically talking about white women, but I'm talking about Black women, okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's my concern. But as a whole, if you was concerned so much about women, Women are working harder than they've ever had to work in this country. Now, some of them are doing it by choice, but that takes a toll on a woman because, ladies, y'all gonna hate me for saying this. I love you as your brother. So I'm gonna say it even if it makes you angry because I believe in telling the truth over here. None of you have no business trying to work as long and as hard as a man does. Your body was not meant to take that. That wears your physical health down. That wears your mental health down. So if this bastard was really concerned about your health, he would be doing more so that the men could be in better positions to take on more of the lion's share and take some of that load off our women. That's what he would be doing if he really cared about traditional values in this country. He would be trying to get things back to where you didn't have to have 2 and 3 damn jobs to make it if you was the average person that hadn't yet made it into the middle class or higher. That's what he would be doing. Let's let him continue.
By Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady. So pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years.
How about you go ahead and put the clamp on BlackRock and places like that that's trying to buy up all the single family homes and just rent them? How about you get that done? You can do that, Joe Biden. You ain't got to wait and talk about a damn tax credit. See, that lets you know he's full of shit because there's a lot of this stuff he's talking about. He can start doing things about it right now. Yes, he could. Yes, he could. Oh, yes. He don't have to sit there and go through Congress and all this other stuff to do some of these things. Some, not all. A lot of stuff he can go ahead and get done. See, I want to teach my people so that you recognize when somebody playing in front of your damn face. See, the way I'm talking right now, when they come around asking for your vote, you need to be hostile with these people on a business level and let them know that, listen, you're not talking to somebody that's impressed because you come eat at a black family's house or you go to a restaurant or your goofy ass get up trying to imitate some black dancers. You let these people know when they come to your doorstep asking for your vote, you better be talking about business, policies, numbers, and tangibles for my people. If you ain't talking that, get the hell out of my face. Let's let it continue.
And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old.
Now, let me go ahead and get on it right now while you're talking about education. See, Jim Crow Joe, if you was really concerned about giving children a better education in America, I've always said this. Being a teacher is a hard job. I've never done it myself, but I know people that have engaged in the profession. Some of you in this chat room are engaged in the profession. If you are a teacher, I want you to know, especially as a black teacher, man or woman, you have my utmost respect because The education of a people's children contributes to the strength of its future. Teachers should be paid on the same level, no less than some of these collegiate coaches at these college institutions. No less than that. They should be paid that type of money. They have one of the most important jobs in this nation. Why would you not pay them in a fashion that would incentivize them to go and put up with the foolishness that they're putting up with? Because see, Jim Crow Joe, I'm going to tell you something, man. If you was really concerned about the state of education, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care because I got to see it because I've covered it on this channel and it affects our community. You would be talking about, okay, I better not see you have a teacher in a school with children singing Sexy Red songs, or I'm going to cut your damn federal funding. How about that if you really give a damn so much about the future and the education of children? If you care so much about children, Jim Crow Joe, you would stop them from taking the real history, American history, what happened to black people out these schools, teach it all. Teach it, because little white children going to feel bad. You think little black children don't feel bad just knowing about slavery as if that's all we ever did? Huh? Well, but don't worry about that, though. We're going to make sure that the truth is educated to our children because, see, even if you pull it all out these schools, you can't take it all off the internet. And even if you did, there's enough of us out here that are going to make sure we do what we need to do to teach our children the truth. This is why I support the work of our good brother Tariq Nasheed, our good brother Greg Marcel Dixon, who is a teacher by trade. Okay, as you know, he's running to unseat Clyburn. That's a good brother. Y'all should support him if you can. Okay. Many others that are out here doing work on the grassroots level to educate children. The good sister Patricia Jenkins in my chat room. She's a librarian. Very educated sister. Very down-to-earth sister. Doing the best that she can in her community. Many of you in here are probably teachers, okay? Like I said, salute to all of you, but that's something I've always said. Teachers should be paid no less than these collegiate coaches, that's at these different colleges, at the very least, okay? So he's not serious about nothing he's saying. All this stuff he's saying, if he, by heaven, help this whole nation, if this bastard does get another 4 years, which I don't foresee, but if he does, all this stuff is, look, let me go ahead and put it straight like this. Remember how he punked you and tricked you when you helped get him in office, Biden sexuals? It's just the same thing. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. There's no need to change the playbook if you're not going to politically punish them. And I'm talking to Black America. Really, every American should, but definitely my community who I'm mainly talking to, we must politically punish them. Okay, Biden sexuals, you said get him in there. You want to see what he's going to do? He had 4 years. Look what he's done. Absolutely nothing for you to help put him in there. In fact, they've been disrespectful to you, which goes to show you that you really don't have no self-esteem if you're going to continue to vote for him. They're trying to say that other groups was the reason that he got into the White House. Groups that, if you look at the numbers, they don't vote nowhere near it in as many numbers as black people do. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. Let's let it continue.
I think I pointed out last year. That children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry. I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to good-paying job, whether or not they go to college.
Okay, then. I'm so glad that you said that. No. Don't just connect them with businesses. How about you put these trays back in these schools, you lying bastard, you? How about you do that? If you really as serious as you saying about helping the kids, like you saying, put the damn trays back in the schools, Jim Crow Joe, so that these kids can come out of school with a skill and be ready to go straight to work for someone or for themselves, should they choose to. How about you do that?
And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions.
Now, I'm going to point something else out because I told you I'm going to dissect this down to the microscopic level. Notice how he just said minority institutions and Hispanic institutions. What does that tell you? I'm going to thread the needle again. Go back to what he told them Sambos. Y'all going to have to get more used to working with Hispanics because they make up a larger popular portion of the population than y'all do. That's why he keeps emphasizing that. See, a lot of people probably miss that. I don't miss nothing. Let me tell you something. You don't do what I did for as long as I did and not learn to pay strict attention to detail. You just don't do that. He ain't gonna get nothing by me by the time I'm finished with this over here tonight. I want you to understand that. And notice, he not gonna single nobody else out but them when he says that term, okay? Notice he ain't just singling what he gonna do for no black people. You ain't gonna hear that, I guarantee you. Watch.
When I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to give teachers a raise, and I'm going to tell you why I know you don't. See, like I told you before, when you start paying attention to policy and numbers, he doesn't want to give teachers a raise. You know why I know? Because if you did, all this money that you spending on these migrants and that you sending over to Ukraine, you would give that money to the teachers. I told you, I'm going to kick them in ways ain't nobody ever cooked them. Let's let them continue.
And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and the very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share.
You said that during the beginning of your tenure. If you hadn't done it in 4 years, what makes anybody with any ounce of intelligence in their head think he gonna start to do it now?
Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny.
Oh, no, 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 Biden. No, 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 no. Not gonna let you get away with that. Family, you know, during the pandemic, you know that Black Americans created the most businesses and jobs out of any other group because we're people that have had to survive by necessity, and we gonna make a way out of no way. If what he was saying was true and he was so business friendly and he for lowering taxes for everybody, why come you put that whole law together where you trying to tax people if they got more than $600 in the bank account and all this other stuff? You're hiring all these new IRS agents. You're not hiring them to go after these corporations. You hiring them to go after the middle business class. That's what you're doing. You see how you catch them in a lie if you pay attention to what's going on? You understand me? This fork-tongued serpent right here is going to be the ruin of this country if we don't get his ass out of office. Just let it continue.
And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So,
how much you want to bet that hit the small business owners first before it hit them big corporations?
Every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse.
Oh, boy, he talking a good talk, isn't he? Oh, he talking a good talk. Let me show you something. See, I like for my people to be able to debunk lies themselves, not just take my word for it on this microphone. We'll put another assistance tool for you in this chat room you're familiar with. Oh, yeah, we're going to put it in here 3 times. Oh, yeah. I want you all to go to fec.gov. I want you to type in the names. I've said this many times. I'm going to keep doing it because I want you to become accustomed with where to go to debunk these lies. The reason why I put that site in the chat, you can go and look up your politicians and see who funds their campaigns. The hand that pays is the hand that rules. You really think this man is finna go hard at them corporations like he talking up here when they fund most of these politicians? The corporations own these politicians. Politicians are basically prostitutes for these corporations. Let's let it continue.
I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have 2 ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. Protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called.
This fool actually is sitting up here talking about snacks and damn chips when we got record inflation at these grocery stores. That are talking about the food that people need to eat to live. This bastard talking about snacks and chips. He actually did this, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't edit this. This was exactly what happened. This is what he was talking about. And I tell you, the rest of the world is laughing at us with this old senile piece of shit in office right here. Let me tell you something. Every day that this man is in office, he's a national security threat. Let's let it continue.
Inflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees, those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8.
let me take the time to say something particularly to young Black Americans listening to this broadcast, okay? When a politician in either party starts talking about what they're going to do, this, that, the third, let me tell you what you're going to have to do with them now, okay? You're going to have to say, okay, great. Give me a timetable. Huh? You heard me? Give me a timetable. They start talking about, huh? What? Yeah, I heard what you said you're going to do. When are you planning on doing this? That's what you do, because, see, a lot of times, let me tell you something. If you listen to them talk long enough, both political parties, they're basically bullshit artists, razzle-dazzle specials. They sit there and just say, talk a bunch of stuff, or just talk. Okay, yeah, when we gonna get to doing it, though? Time. What do I always teach y'all about time? Time, the most precious, non-renewable resource that any of us have. I told you, you should become highly offended about people that waste your time, particularly when it comes to trying to secure your vote and want you to come out and spend your gas, put gas in your car and go to these voting polls or whatever, and they're not talking about what they're going to specifically do for you, and they can't explain in sensible, logical terms when it's going to be done. No, see, look, let me tell you something. If he was sitting up here talking during the State of the Union and all this stuff that he was talking about, he said, hey, when I leave this building tonight, everything I'm talking about finna start getting done, or at least some of it, he would get a different response. That's not going to happen, though. He's hoping to reel in basically that older voter crowd. Because, look, let's be honest. They're the only people that's going to vote for him in sizable numbers. Let me tell you something, Democrats, Jim Crow Joe Biden, and all the rest of you cronies, you will be politically punished come November. Most of Black America that you sit here and lied to, a lot of them that voted for you, they've seen the light. You're going to learn the hard way. And trust me, they're going to have to learn the hard way, not just one time. They're going to have to learn repeatedly. And I'm going to tell you, just like the Arab community telling you, I respect them for saying this. If you really don't want Donald Trump back in office, then why are you trying to put him back in there? See, as far as Black America is concerned, you better give us that anti-Black hate crime bill, and you better get busy with these reparations. I don't want to hear, oh, we ain't got it, because we already know that's a lie. We pocket watching. Oh, yes, because it's our money that we pocket watching. All over Ukraine, all on these migrants, oh, it's pocket watch time. I usually don't pocket watch, but when it's my money, you damn right I'm going to watch it. I encourage you to watch yours too, because that's our money, okay? You better get busy on these things that we need, because if you don't worry about asking us for no vote. You better go ask the people that you've done something for, which was not Black Americans. Republicans, I'm telling you the same thing too. Don't you think that the greater majority is going to flock over to Trump because they're disillusioned with Biden? Most people are going to vote for the couch, but now you have an opportunity. If you can put your anti-Black racism to the side and just explain to your base, look, in order to get the majority of the Black vote, we're going to have to do something for these people, because you could get it. Look, Republicans, let me talk to you for a minute. If you just said, okay, start out with the anti-Black hate crime bill and then become in serious negotiations about reparations, do you know how many Black people would vote for you overnight? I ain't going to say all, but a large portion would say, okay, that's more than the damn Democrats did these last 4 years. But see, Republicans, your problem is that anti-Black racist base that you got. A lot of you that are the party leaders and Donald Trump, I'm telling you too, if you smart, you would go ahead and confront them like, listen, man, Black people have done more for this country. You already acknowledged that we built the country. You halfway acknowledging, because I heard that comment that he made. But we built this nation, period. It's time for us to get our just due. That legally owed debt of reparations is not a handout. Don't say you don't have the money, because all this money is falling out of thin air and it's our taxpayer dollars. What is it about spending money on us that's so offensive to you? Because that's a rhetorical question. I know it. But you're going to have to confront your base with that question, Trump. The choice is yours. The election is yours to lose. Same to Jim Crow Joe Biden, because if you don't want Trump in there, all you got to do is start doing what you said you was going to do for Black people. But, hey, that's too much like right. Let's let it continue.
Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. The credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating.
Oh, and I'm glad that somebody brought that comment up in the chat room. Let me interject this as well, because see, I meant to say this at the beginning of the broadcast, but it's probably better because there's more people in here now. Family, if you ever hear this talking point, I'm saying it specifically for young black people so they know how to debunk this and go ahead and get that crap out the way. When anybody in the dominant society, no matter which political party, comes talking to you about why they're not for reparations, they try to pull this, well, you know, the U.S. dollar is crashing. So what if you got the reparations and the money wasn't worth anything? Let me tell you something. I said this on X. If you follow me, you know where I'm going. If they really thought the dollar was crashing with the way that they only give us things that are of no value or that are detrimental to us, don't you know they wouldn't be fighting so hard not to pay them reparations? Think about it. The most cruel punchline and joke that they would be able to do is like, go ahead and give the niggas the reparations. The dollar ain't gonna be worth nothing in the next 3 months anyway. Think about that now. If they really believe that bullshit talking about the dollar was gonna crash, because it's not gonna crash no time soon. Let me tell you that right now. But if they really believe that, don't you know they'll just go ahead and give you the money so they can sit there laughing at you? That's just how wicked they are. Yeah. Let me go ahead and further debunk that dollar crashing bullshit where it's like, oh my God, the dollar's about to crash, the money ain't gonna be worth anything. If they thought that, don't you know white people would just be giving that money away? You don't hold on to something that you know is not going to have any value. How many billionaires you see just throwing their money out in the street? Making it rain on just average person. Fuck it, ain't gonna be worth nothing. Just throw it out. Yeah, I'm going there. It is just that simple. Yeah, throw logic right back in their faces, because see, you got some silly people that'll actually sit there and go along with that. Well, you know, the dollar ain't gonna be worth it. No. As much as they fighting to hold on to that, no, it's gonna be worth something for quite some time. Let's let it continue.
Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front, so there are no surprises. It matters. It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so?
Now, family, remember the beginning of this broadcast. If you just tuned in, you need to catch the beginning. I want you to listen to this lie he's about to tell now, because I just showed you what the real deal is. And see, that article that I just showed you, this is what, because you ain't going to hear Boulay Martin talking about it, pork chop those prime ribs Martin, okay, with his no-neck having ass. You ain't going to hear him talking about it. You ain't going to hear joyless Ann Reed talking about it. You ain't going to hear none of these Democrat shields or anybody really talking about that. What I showed you at the beginning of the broadcast, I showed you what the real deal was about border security, okay? Listen to what this fork-tongued serpent is about to say. This man really does think that the average American don't have no sense. See, when they get up here in front of these hand-picked cronies, all of them, their little colleagues, they get up here and tell these lies and broadcast it before the people as if we can't see what's going on in the real world. How many broadcasts have I and others done showing you the border down there at Eagle Pass where they just flooding over here like a bunch of parasites? Like an army of damn termites just swarming through military-aged men every day. I want you to listen to this lie this bastard finna tell.
Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
Or instead of all that bullshit that you're not doing, how about you do this? See, let me show you something. We're going to make this simple. If you were serious about this border issue, you wouldn't be flying them over here with no CBP1 app trying to keep it a secret. And if you were serious, you would back Greg Abbott up and say, okay, cool. All National Guardsmen that are over here in all 50 states, border duty. If you come across here, we're going to detain you. Go ahead and take your information so we recognize when you try to come back out and dump your ass back over there where you're supposed to be. And let me make this clear. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want none of them over here. That includes the women and the children. Nope. Nope. You go back home. That's where you go. All of you. Every one of you. Your military age fighting men, your women and your kids. Everybody goes back. You go back over there. See, the stay in Mexico policy, that was the best thing that Trump did before he got out of office regarding that damn border. You stay in Mexico and you come over here the right way if you're trying to come. Not just a whole thousands of people just running across the damn border. Then when you get here, people gonna give you our taxpayer dollars and put you in nice high-rise hotels, give you $9,000 a month, assistance on rent and stuff the average citizen can't get. Above our homeless people at that? And he's sitting up here just babbling all this stuff, talking about, well, what are you gonna hire? Okay, what's the point of you hiring if you're not gonna give them the right to go ahead and arrest and deport these people? What's the point of that? I told you, I ain't done with him by sight over here. Let's let him continue.
What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol.
When it's overwhelming now, you see now, old son of a bitch, you. Do you hear this fool? When it's overwhelming. Last time I checked, family, look, where my Texas people at in this chat room? Where my Texas people at in this chat room? Where my Texas family? Because you all know better than anybody what's going on at their border right now. Y'all closer to it than anybody. Did you hear him when it's overwhelming? What the hell do you think this is that we dealing with now? The numbers that I showed you at the beginning of this broadcast with what he admitted, go ahead and multiply that by at least 3. Huh? Go ahead and multiply that by at least 3. This is what we're dealing with. I told you, this is the greatest national security threat we've ever had in office in this country.
Bill, the Federal Chamber of Commerce isn't, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people?
You let them over here. Perhaps she'd still be alive if your goofy ass wasn't letting them come over here and giving them our taxpayer dollars to make sure that they have money to eat and get housing. Maybe Laken Riley would still be alive if you hadn't done that, Biden. I've shown my audience what you admitted at the beginning of this broadcast, amongst other things. This is your fault. You did this. White America, I'm telling you now, this problem is on your doorstep. He's in your community. and he's in the highest office in the land, instead of focusing on black people, you better start focusing on him. Or it's gonna be a Laken Riley in a city near you.
Being killed illegal. To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, we changed the dynamic. People, these smugglers, $8,000 to get across the border because they know by if they get by let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they.
Hold on a second, family. I'm gonna check some out because, yeah, boy, I told y'all they messing with the night, boy. They do not want this broadcast to go on. Check something out here. Oh yeah, let me check this out and see what's going on real quick. Give me. I'm gonna see if I can rearrange some things here and get some things back situated. Hold on here. Let me see if we can get this. Okay, we're going to see how this works now. Let's let it continue.
And it's worth it taking the chance of the 8,000. But if it's only 6 months, 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
All right, family. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Oh, I see. I told you, man. If we was cooning and buffooning over here, oh, let me check this and see if you can hear me. All right, family. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me see if you can hear me loud and clear. Oh, boy, they hating. Boy, they mad. Look, see, if I was over here cooning and buffooning, wouldn't have any issues and problems. None whatsoever. And let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me see. Oh, that's all right. We gonna get through it. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. All they did was make me just have to go harder in the paint on him. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to try to pick it up right where we left off. So let's see if we can get back where we left off at, okay? Oh, I ain't done with him. Hold on. Let me slide this on back.
No one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care and people living with disabilities, so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know.
Okay, I'm so glad that he mentioned that. People pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border. Where the money coming from, Biden? Huh? Who's paying them $8,000 to get across the border? Who doing it, huh? Somebody's bankrolling this. I've said it before. Let me just go ahead and burst this bubble. Oh, PukeTube, you really gonna get mad now because I'm gonna tell my people the truth. Oh, yes, I am. You know who's paying that? Let me see if anybody remembers what I told you about who's bankrolling getting these migrants over here. Who you think paying these cartels to smuggle them over here? Huh? Who you think doing that? Because see, think about it. The average migrant don't have that kind of money stashed away nowhere. They sure don't. You know who paying $8,000 to get them over here? Let me go ahead and tell you. The corporations. Oh, yes, they are. You think about it. They want that. Look, see, let me tell you how demonic these corporations are in America. And I need to do a broadcast on that, breaking that down again, because I did that years ago. I need to update that. We'll get that going in a future broadcast. But don't you know that they will spend money to do that? Yep, and the United Nations too. Sandra Evans hit the nail on the head. The corporations in the United Nations, they're paying that because, see, the corporations in particular, they want that cheap labor. Oh, they'll spend some bread to get them up here. They sure will. These Democrats are in cahoots with them corporations to get them over here. Think about it. Who paying $8,000 a month to do that? The migrants ain't got that kind of money saved up to do that, to pay them. Yeah, the money is coming from this side. Yes, it is. The United Nations, I already busted that out on the community tab. I put that article up showing how that's what they got their hands involved in and talking about, oh, yeah, they support the programs to get them over here. You already know about the CBP1 app where this bastard here was lying about it, talking about he trying to fly them in to make it not look like it's so many crossing at the border. See, I told you. If they pale thin lips are moving, they lying, just like my grandparents taught me. Let's let it continue.
If they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
How about they be turned around at the damn border and we not have to go through that at all, you see now, bastard?
Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now. And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate.
What do you think committing all that crime is doing to this country, huh?
Families.
You know the best way for the families not to be separated? Deport them all together. That's right. So hey, we can keep them together, deport them all at the same time. Problem solved.
I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, and ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came.
Yep, and that right there is where I'm finna tell his ass a new one. First of all, nobody's been here on our land longer than us. Let's get that straight right now. The whole some came in chains, you disrespectful bastard. Boy, look, see, you vote blue no matter who, people. How much more disrespectful y'all gonna let him be to black folks? If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Okay, all these disrespectful things I've covered, he said, in these 4 years that y'all helped put this wrinkled, senile national security threat in office. This whole trying to equate us like we strangers on our own land, that's going to be put to bed this year. You hear me? You think that those of us over here in independent new black media and on the grassroots are going hard in the paint about that? Oh, just you wait. We are going to make sure that they get the point that you're not going to call us or lump us in with immigrants. You're not going to come around us playing when it's time to handle political business. And you're not going to get something for nothing from us. All of that is going to be finished. And that whole black and stuff, okay, you're going to learn about that. We got something for you for that this year. There's ways to stop that. And I'm going to be talking about that in future broadcasts because y'all already see what they're trying to do to this one tonight. Don't worry, though. We going to get to that, though. Let it continue.
Came when famine struck like my ancestral family in Ireland, some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans. Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it.
You broke it.
Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote.
Oh, I know you know about that because your homeboy was Senator Robert Byrd and Strom Thurmond. I know you know all about that.
They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him.
Nope, you're not going to pull the John Lewis on us neither. No. Let me go ahead and say that now, and some people not going to like what I'm about to say. John Lewis, rest his soul, is not someone that Black America holds in high esteem, and I'm going to say this bluntly put, don't care who don't like it. That man was alive. He was carrying on about getting busted upside his head and holding that up as if that was a dignified thing. We can't afford to tell Black American youth that that's something dignified today. Your very life is in danger today. You think we're supposed to get out here and uphold that? No. There's nothing honorable about accepting abuse, okay? Especially if you're not doing it to sacrifice for a better cause. Just sitting there letting somebody beat you upside your head, and then you just kept going on and on and on about that when he was alive. And then after this man died, they just using his name to try to draw on our heartstrings. No. See, it would have been one thing if you was taking them lumps when you were alive, John Lewis, and anybody like him, to get reparations in the anti-Black hate crime bill. See, what good is your blood being spilled if it's not for a purpose? That's my question. So no, he's no hero to us, okay? I'm not going to disparage the dead, but I'm going to tell the truth and say that like it need to be said. Let's let it continue.
But joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma. The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months.
Nope. You're not going to pull her up here talking about how she sang and prayed, because if you cared about any of those people that were beaten up on Bloody Sunday, why you not supporting reparations to repair the damage that was done?
Later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law.
Not gonna let you get away with that Voting Rights Act crap either, because see, family, let me show you something, because I told you I got work to do cooking him over here. The next time they jump in your face talking about voting rights, okay, go ahead and talk about it with them. Let me tell you what you go ahead and tell them. Y'all know where I'm going if you've been on this channel for any length of time. This is where you go with them regarding that particular issue. You say, okay, our voting rights are so threatened. Oh my God, you're so worried about voting rights. Oh, voting rights is going to be taken away. Then instead of us having voting rights on lease for every 25 years because that's exactly what it was. Think about it. If they don't want to sign that back in every 25 years, they don't want to sign that. We basically got voting rights on lease, okay? White Americans don't. How about you make that a permanent part of the Constitution? There you go. Problem solved. So the next time they jump in your face talking about, oh, the voting rights, okay, hey, let's stop kicking the can down the road. Just make it a permanent part of the Constitution. Problem solved right there. If they're not talking about doing that, they're not serious about nothing with no damn voting rights. Just let it continue.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering.
Nope. You're not going to start that voter suppression crap because they voted well enough to get your punk ass in office and they voted well enough to give you a majority in the House and the Senate. So no, all this, where's these threats to these voting rights? See, this type of silliness right here, that goes in line with that other line they was talking about. Well, if you don't vote, that's a vote for Trump. No, if you don't vote, that's a vote for no one. See, but this is how little they think, particularly of Black Americans, okay? They think that they can just say anything in front of us. We just go with it. No, where's all this voter suppression? Look, nobody's stopping anybody from voting. Nobody. You don't have, no. See, this kind of foolishness right here, this is why I'm saying you're going to have to be extremely hostile with them when they come around you with this type of nonsense, because they don't do it to no other community but ours. Let it continue.
John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here, but if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act.
Oh, no, you're right. It's time to do more than talk. Pass the anti-Black hate crime bill. Let's go ahead and get reparations on the table. Let's do that. And like I said, if you're so concerned about voting rights, make it a permanent part of the Constitution. There you go, right there. Oh, yeah, I told you. I ain't done with it.
John Lewis Voting Right Act. And stop denying the core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis.
Let me tell you something. The climate crisis, that's your people's problem. We're children of the sun. We're not worried about the sun's rays like that. That's your community's problem. See, that's another thing I told y'all that their community tries to do. They try to make their problems our problems. Nope. We don't have them issues and problems that you have out in the sun. No. So now that's what they mean when they talk about climate change. Nope. That's your issue. Let me tell you what you do. Just like you've been cutting these checks for everybody else, go ahead and cut us our check, and then you sit over there and worry about your climate change in your community. That's your issue, your problem, not our problem. We ain't trying to hear nothing no more. We're coming to get what's ours, and the tab is steady running. So you can pay it now or pay later, either way, but that interest and that debt is going to be collected. Let's continue.
At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030. creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs like the IBW work is building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice, fence-line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And patterned after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office.
Say what? Oh, man. Did this fool just say America is safer today? Now that he's in office, listen, man, hold on. So a wide open border with everything and its mama coming across. You're depleting this nation of our taxpayer dollars that need to be spent on things here. You sitting over here instead of worrying about what needs to be taken care of as far as the health and safety of Americans. You got all this going on with record inflation, and you gonna say this country is safer than any other time? See, this is how you know you're dealing with a demonic pathological liar right here. And those of you that vote blue no matter who, that includes you if you sit up here and listen to this man all because you want some white validation and co-sign this foolishness. Let it continue.
Murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years.
See, let me tell you something. And look how scary Kamami is back there, boy. She was nervous, boy, when little buddy got out there and started yelling, because, see, they know the biggest threat to themselves are themselves. Probably thought Buddy was going to get up and start spraying in there, boy. Listen, let me tell you how you know that he's lying, because listen how he started stuttering when all that happened. See, look, if you know you were speaking the truth, you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't be stuttering like you were stuttering just because he got up and started yelling. Oh, but see, you know you full of shit, though. Boy, when I tell you, boy, like I said, it's going to be interesting come November, because I already know what our community that's on code or know what we going to do. It's either going to be you going to give us some tangibles or, hey, Couch Chillington 2024. Let's let it continue.
But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record.
Oh, you mean like that 94 crime bill that you enacted, Jim Crow Joe?
Take on crimes of domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America. There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas.
Oh, you want to stop all the violence itself for giving us that anti-black hate crime bill, though, huh?
Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it.
Oh, so let's get this straight. When they told you to do something, you established the office, but what you won't do, like the rest of you in both political parties, you won't turn your eyes towards the problem, which is white male mass shooters. That's what the problem is. You're not going to go after them. Look, if you put that same energy that you did in that 94 crime bill into going after them, problem would be solved overnight.
Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Let me tell you why that's not going to stop the problem, because I just said it. The problem is the white male mass shooter. You ban high-capacity assault rifle magazines, they're going to just go do it with a pistol, a pipe bomb, whatever. The problem are your little demonic terrorist spawn that you have running around out of control out here. That's what the problem is. But you look at everything except for what the problem is. This type of demonic, pathological, insane incompetence is going to be the ruin of this country. They're talking about 4 more years. This country can't take 4 more minutes of this bastard right here. Let's let it continue.
Yes, universal background checks. None of this. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And 200.
Let me stop him right here because, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's bad. Black America's Holocaust is still going. I don't hear you talking like that for us. My compassion is with my people.
50 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also we will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocent women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters.
Where's the humanitarian aid for Black America, Biden? Where is that? Because Gaza and Israel are thousands of miles away from here. Not one American fired a shot or rocket, bullet, bomb, whatever at either side. I feel compassion for the innocent that got caught up. However, I have more compassion for my community and my people that I see suffering over here right now. Your humanitarian aid that you're talking about, you haven't given us any humanitarian aid, Biden. You damn sure hadn't. You've withdrawn and deprived us of resources. But you got resources for people that's not even supposed to be here in this country legally. And you want Black America to be concerned about what's going on over there with them people? No, I refuse. We are not putting other groups ahead of our situation. We've done that too long. And every time we've done it, it's never been reciprocated. I'm not playing that game, and most of On Code Black America isn't playing it either.
No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel.
The black man that you just saw there, that was the current Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. all of this that he's talking about doing, anything that he's talking about doing as far as any type of conflict, remember what I told you about when they put the first black somewhere when it's a position that was once highly coveted by white people? If anything goes wrong, they're all going to blame his goofy black ass. I guarantee you that. Y'all better understand about that. When these people start letting you become the first black this when they was fighting like hell to keep you out that position, you better pause and be like, why are these white folks putting me in this position? What's the ulterior motive behind it? So let it continue.
For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America's falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP.
No, just saying we have the best economy in the world does not change what average Americans see every day. Family, let me ask you a question. Right now, do you think with this record inflation, because just think about it, record inflation and then, oh, we are the best economy in the world. See, that's what white people do, that they just say shit. And then you be like, wait a minute, none of this is adding up with what you're saying. Who in here thinks we got the best economy in the world right now? Tell you what you do. Never mind what I think. Go do some comparison on different economies right now. You do your homework on that. Then you get back to me and you tell me if you think that his statement holds up, talking about we got the best economy in the world. With all this going on right now, this man is insane.
Is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that.
Now, what he just said, oh, he think he cooking, huh? That sounded like that was pretty smart. I made it where China can't use any American technology. Yeah, you think so? Watch this. I'm finna smash all that bullshit he just said with one name. You ready, family? Ready for me to smash all that with one name that he's forgetting about? Some of you may know the name before I even say it. I'm asking a question. Do you know why I'm saying that he's forgetting one name? Who in here knows the one name that I'm talking about? I'm gonna give you a couple seconds before I tell you. Who knows the one name? That's a good guess, Tier to you, but it's not TikTok. This is actually a person. Yeah, it's actually a person. I give y'all a couple more seconds. I'm gonna tell you. When I say it, you're gonna be like, oh, damn, GBS, you right. Give you a couple more seconds. Anybody know the name of the person that when I say this name, it's gonna make sense as though all that crap that he was talking about? Nope, it's gonna be null and void. No, it's not Putin. It's not Putin. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden. Yeah. Oh, Edward Snowden. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Remember when Edward Snowden fled from here? He sought asylum in China first, and he stayed there for quite some time. Now, remember what I told you about the Chinese? There are many things, but they're not stupid. In order to let that man stay there, what you think he had to give up in return? He's in Russia now. What you think he had to give up in return to stay there? All that shit he talking about, Edward Snowden has given them the information to manufacture their own stuff. So great about the current technology you talking about, you making sure they can't use. Don't you know this man has given them enough information to bypass that? That's why if Snowden ever goes anywhere where the United States has an extradition treaty, he's a dead man. They will kill him on sight. I'm telling you now. Yeah. Think about that for a couple of seconds. Let's let it continue.
I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills, but there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't.
I got an idea, you senile old son of a bitch. If you want to go to war so bad, instead of sending young men and women to war, how about all of you that want to do it so bad, you suit up and go over there and get the job done and appoint your deputies in your place. How about that? Let's see how much you really love America, you geriatric old bastard, you. Get on over there. Show us your patriotism. Get on over there and go to war. That should be mandatory. You should have to be on the front lines, and they appoint the deputies of each of their positions to do the job while they're away. Suit up and go fight for what you believe in. That's what I've always said. Let's let it continue.
That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H, and remind us that we can do big things like end cancer as we know it. And
we gonna end some cancer come November. That cancer is your ass, you national security threat, you.
Will.
Look at this old leather-faced fossil sitting up here clapping and shit. Her ass got to go to the entire Congressional Black Caucus. They got to go. I can't stand looking at this heifer right here. Let me tell you why. Cause a lot of people, the GBS, why are you saying that? Remember when this heifer was giving Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B and them praise about that damn WAP song? Of all the things you could be promoting towards the image of young black girls, being that you're an older, dried up fossil in office, you promote that? You weren't promoting to young black girls anything about getting into the STEM field or anything as far as arts and creativity or anything as far as athletic talent. You weren't promoting that. You promoting WAP. Something your ass do not have. Yeah, I went there. Let's let it continue.
Let me close with this. Yay. I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation, between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacy...
You disrespectful son of a bitch, you. Yeah. Let me say something to you Democrats. And you know what? Not just Democrats. Let me say something to white America. Your community killed Dr. King, Malcolm X, and many others that were trying to get the right thing done by Black America, which would have been ultimately good for the entire nation. How dare any of you invoke their names as if you honored these people that you demonized when they were alive? You put the FBI on specifically Dr. King. You told lies. You terrorized that man's family. And then you have the nerve to cherry pick his words to this day to try to use them to pull at our heartstrings to get us to vote. Let me tell you something. Any of them come in my face doing that, that's something I would damn near spit in your face for. I don't play about our ancestors that sacrificed for us. I don't play about that at all, okay? That's one thing you can't do around me is come in my face, especially from that community playing about my ancestors. Don't play with me like that. You better pick somebody else. Come November, you're going to get this political punishment. You're going to learn once and for all that you playing with a different Black America. That foolishness that you pulled 4 years ago, a lot of them have seen what New Black Media was trying to tell them when they were so afraid of Donald Trump. Now some of them people now some of them people like, you know what? Damn, Trump ain't so bad. It wasn't never like this when he was in office. And that's the truth. We didn't have any of these problems that this administration brought overnight. Think about it. Think about it, family. Really, really think about it. Whether you don't like me, don't like none of that, I don't care. Let's think for a minute. We didn't have any of these problems until this son of a bitch got in office and bam, overnight. His first 100 days, here we go with the bullshit. Won't you let that sink in for those of you running around even contemplating, thinking about trying to vote for this bastard again? Let's let it continue.
It inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first Black president. Now president to the first women vice president. In my career,
y'all saw James Clyburn, old ass up there. Boy, he looked just like Hoppin' Bob from the movie Life. Without a hat. That's what he looked like. And then that goofy flatback heifer back there behind him, Kamami, sitting there clapping as if she's something to be proud of. And then he mentioned that snake Obama, who did more to hurt Black America than arguably any white president before him, if you really want to be honest. He damn sure didn't do nothing for us. Boy, I'm telling you, family, this foolishness right here, I'm glad that it's going on, though, because, see, sometimes in order to really galvanize you, to motivate you to act, sometimes you have to be insulted in your face like this bastard is doing to our people right now. And I'm saying that to the entirety of America. This right here is something that we all should be able to agree on. There should never be allowed to be any president. I'm going to say this. There should never be allowed to be any president as old and senile as this man is to be back in that office. I'm going to go even further. I'm not going to stop where I just left it at. All of those geriatric fossils, because basically everything that you're looking at in that room is basically a senior citizens home that's got America held hostage. They all need to go. It's time for them to go home with their grandkids. That's enough. That's enough. Look what they've done. They've run this country into the ground. Let's let it continue.
I've been told I was too young. By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now.
Bullshit, you walked away from it when it comes to Black America. Nobody's been treated worse than we have here on our own land.
I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are. It's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America, and there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Joe Biden is on the run from his record.
So I see a future too. I see a future where hopefully enough of us are on code. Not just Black America, but sensible Americans that are white in this country that see this foolishness that happens these 4 years here. I see a future where we send his ass out of that Oval Office and commandment with him and never put them back in office again. I'm talking about that damn dirty Democratic Party. And to you Republicans, this is an opportunity for you to do what they've never done. You do right by Black America, you do right by all of America. So I'm going to play something for you as we get ready to close here tonight. Donald Trump recorded this before Jim Crow Joe's State of the Union here, okay? It was a pre-bottle, they call it. I want y'all to listen to this. Orange Man has something to say.
And lying like crazy to try and escape accountability for the horrific devastation he and his party have created. All the while, they continue the very policies that are causing this horror show to go. We cannot take it any longer as a country. Joe Biden's sad excuse for a State of the Union address aside, here are the facts. When I left office, we gave Joe Biden the most secure border in U.S. history. We gave him remain in Mexico, very tough to get, but I got it. Safe third agreements, the asylum ban, Title 42, 571 miles of border wall, rapid deportations, and much more. We had the safest border in the history of our country. As soon as he got in, Crooked Joe and his radical left lunatics deliberately dismantle each and every one of those policies that were so good, that gave us this best border. According to Tom Homan, according to Brandon Judd, the top people, they said it was the single best border we've ever had in recorded history. What's happened now is a horror show. The country, our country, is being laughed at all over the world. Over the past 3 years, Biden has actively aided and abetted the importation of millions and millions of illegal alien migrants and resettled them into your communities. At any time during the past 3 years, crooked Joe Biden, and he is crooked as you can be and the most incompetent president we've ever had, could have called off the invasion. But to this day, he is keeping the hordes of illegal migrants and illegal aliens pouring into the country. By the time his term is up, we could have close to 20 million people in our country. And we have no idea from where they come. We have no idea who they are. They have no identification. Many come from mental institutions. Many come from prisons. They're terrorists. We have a calamity the likes of which we've never seen before. The very first bill Joe Biden sent to Congress was a plan to turn illegal aliens into voting citizens. That's just what we need. No matter what Crooked Joe says, his actions prove his priority is to import a colossal new illegal alien population and let them all stay. My priority is securing our border and sending Crooked Joe's illegals back home. Likewise, the sight of a feeble Joe Biden talking about shrinkflation, the term he uses, is one of the most ridiculous things this country has ever seen. Shrinkflation is just another way of saying inflation. It means that you're losing a lot of money because these people don't know what they're doing. It was all caused by Crooked Joe Biden and the people that surround him, and they are radical left, Marxists and fascists and communists and socialists. We have people running our country, the likes of which we have never seen before. He and the communists and his party looted trillions of dollars from you and spent it on illegal aliens and the Green New Scam, triggering the highest inflation in many, many decades. If your packages are getting smaller, that's the reason why, under my leadership, there was no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. It's time to tell Crooked Joe Biden, you're fired.
And there you have it, family. Like him or hate him, the Cheeto was cooking. Oh, I got to give him credit. The Cheeto was cooking. And I'm going to say this to my people here in Black America. Be registered to vote. You've seen the evidence here on this broadcast and many others that I've done and many others that other people have done. We've given you information to make an informed decision, and we're telling you if Black empowerment isn't on the ballot, withhold your vote or vote for the couch. Now, let's be clear. Some people have made up their mind and say they're going to vote for Trump. I'll tell you what, at this point, if you're going to do that, as long as you don't give it to the Democrats, you don't reward bad behavior with something that should be earned from you, okay? They've done nothing to earn the votes of our people. They've disrespected us in the process of doing nothing for us. And they've done everything for people that don't even vote at a fraction of the rate that Black people vote for them. So I want you to consider those words here tonight as we close the broadcast. And I want to thank everybody that contributed to the broadcast. I think I have the best subscribers in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for all of your support. We're going to be pumping out a lot more content on a lot of different things. We're going to keep our foot on that necks all the way up until the election, ladies and gentlemen. We're not playing no games with these people. We're going to get what we're due. They're going to pay these reparations, give us the anti-Black hate crime bill, and I don't care what excuses they make. We're going to turn them right back around and be like, yep, okay, all of that's going on. Cut our checks. That's it. Salute to everybody. Black first. I will see you all in future content.
It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who was the first this, who was the this and that, and such and such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture.
Like everything was being driven and influenced by young, black, American culture. Like the slang, the style of dress, the initial music that we chose.
You look at all the boroughs, you got, money making Manhattan and money earning Mount Vernon and Crooklyn. The Bronx was the boogie down Bronx. We was partying up there.
I am Coke LaRock, the first MC of hip hop. First cat to pick the mic up.
I introduced rapping to the turntable because when I came with it, nobody in the world was doing it. I'm right after Rudy Ray Moore.
They want to come in the mix, they want to say, we started. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What came to be known as hip hop was solely an African-American creation.
What would you get out of some Jamaican toast? What is that? I've never heard of a rapper use a Jamaican toast or a Jamaican flu as a rhyme. I never heard of it, and I don't know where that myth came from.
My name is legendary King Trixie from the Bronx, BX from the West Side. I am the first breakdancer.
That narrative that hip-hop has had 3 founding fathers, that's been rolling for the last almost 30 years, which isn't true. You don't have 3 people who created hip-hop. Hip-hop was created by a number of different people.
I am the grandfather, the godfather of the graffiti culture. I am the first element of hip-hop.
The roots of hip-hop being Jamaican, absolutely false.
My name is MC Sha-Rock. I am a founding member of the MC/rap culture.
Cassette tapes was the internet of our time. It just traveled around by hand.
I know for a fact that the B-boy stand started from the gods, the 5%ers that would be at the jams back in the days who were acting as security.
If they get the real truth of how it all was created, then so many lies would not be able to be in existence.